When was there a time where you shouldn't have laughed at something, but you did? My dad, using 9 laughing tears emojis to announce that our family cat, whom we love dearly, had passed away. When I was a student nurse, I was asked to tell an patient that his daughter couldn't come visit him because she fell down the stairs and had broken both her arms. I could barely contain myself, because the patient was there because he had broken both his arms. It happens to me more than I care to admit, but the worst time was at my brother's memorial. An aunt we had, who was a very nice person, had got religion recently and decided to sing a gospel song. The problem was she couldn't sing at all. She got up, with no backing music, and sang a really out-of-tune gospel song. The worst part was she took really long pauses between some of the lyrics. So people started to clap thinking she was done with the song. She wasn't. This went on for like 5 minutes. She would pause. People would start to slow clap. Then she would start caterwauling again. I buried my face in my hands and people sitting behind me started consoling me because they thought I was overcome with emotion. As my shoulders were shaking violently, I did have tears running down my face though. I still feel very bad about this. Edit forgot a word. At my Uncle Bill's funeral, my Aunt Mary claimed that she had cared for him in his darkest times. I let out a solid, ha, quote. Everyone turned towards me. I finished with an uncontrollable giggle, poorly hidden behind my hand and a wad of tissues. No regrets. Rip Uncle Bill. December 17, 19. Edit. She, in fact, did not care for him in his darkest times. A friend told me her grandma had terminal cancer. Just a few minutes prior, something funny had happened and it was still in my head. I started laughing about the funny thing, then realized how unbelievably inappropriate it was to be laughing at that moment, which just made me laugh harder. It was a vicious cycle that ended in a lot of apologizing. As a kid, I laughed during stressful situations, so I could barely hold it in when my parents were confronting me about almost flunking out of school. Anything at the library. Shit didn't even have to be really funny. The fact that you needed to be quiet and this not allowed to laugh was insane. You tried to suppress it, but the more you do, the funnier it gets until you just have to run outside and burst into laughter because the last name of a book's author sounded like fart. In boot camp, I laughed at another recruit who was getting yelled at because they were screaming some pretty funny shit at him. Then they turned around to me. I laughed at my grandfather's funeral. Didn't shed a tear. It led to few people, neighbors, not family. Fam knows what happened, thinking I did something bad to him. My grandfather was bedridden for 16 years. His left side of the body was paralyzed. I was 17, so basically all my life I've seen him bedridden. And he was my best friend. He asked me not to cry and always think that God took him because he couldn't see him suffer anymore, and wherever he's going he'll be happy. So to distract myself from crying, I started thinking about all the good times we had and ended up laughing at one such memory. So yeah, that was pretty terrible. Funeral. Thinking of Highway to Hell in my head.